things quietly wealthy people never explain. If you think wealthy people stay quiet about money because they are polite, you already missed the point. Really wealthy people are not silent out of courtesy. They are silent by design. And if you stay until the end, you will understand why explaining too much is often the fastest way to lose power. Before we start, if this kind of content makes you uncomfortable, that is usually a sign it is exactly what you need to hear. So engage now, like the video, and let us begin. Quietly wealthy people never explain where their money comes from, not because the story is mysterious, but because explanation creates exposure. The moment you explain, you invite judgment, requests, opinions, and expectations. Wealth attracts attention, and attention attracts friction. People with real money understand that privacy is not about secrecy, it is about efficiency. Here's something most people do not realize. When someone constantly explains their success, they are usually still negotiating their identity. They want to be understood, they want to be validated. Quietly wealthy people already resolved that internal conflict. They do not need agreement, they need distance. They also never explain their daily routines. Online, you see endless content about morning rituals, productivity hacks, and extreme discipline. But real wealth is built on boring consistency. The routines that actually create money are repetitive, unglamorous, and deeply personal. Explaining them would not inspire you, it would disappoint you. So they stay quiet and let the results speak instead. If you are finding value so far, engage now, because what comes next is the part most people get wrong. Quietly wealthy people do not explain their network. They do not list who they know, who helped them, or who opens doors for them. Relationships at that level are assets, and assets are protected, not advertised. The more people know who you are connected to, the more interference those relationships face. Silence keeps alliances clean and functional. They also never explain their spending habits. You might expect extreme luxury or extreme frugality, but the truth is more subtle. Quiet wealth spends intentionally, not to impress, not to signal, not to prove. Every purchase answers a single question. Does this buy time, energy, or freedom? If it does not, it is ignored. Explaining that mindset to someone who equates spending with status is pointless. Here is a hard truth. Loud money wants to be seen. Quiet money wants to be left alone. That difference changes everything. Quietly wealthy people never explain their long-term plans, not because they lack vision, but because plans spoken too early become fragile. The more people know your direction, the more opinions you inherit. Opinions dilute execution. Wealth rewards clarity, not consensus, so plans stay internal until results make explanations unnecessary. At this point, you might be noticing a pattern. Wealthy people are not hiding information, they are minimizing noise. And noise is the enemy of focus. If you want to understand how this thinking applies to your own life, follow the channel now. This is not motivational content, this is structural thinking. Quietly wealthy people also never explain how they manage time, because time management at that level looks selfish to people who do not control their own schedules. They decline more than they accept. They protect empty space. They design days around leverage, not effort. Explaining this often leads to guilt-based pressure, so they simply say they are busy and move on. They never explain their failures in detail either, not because they are ashamed, but because failure is data, not identity. Publicly narrating every mistake turns learning into performance. Wealthy people review failures privately, extract lessons, and adjust. No audience required. Another thing you will never hear them explain is why they do not chase trends. Trends reward speed, not sustainability. Quiet wealth is built on systems that survive boredom. While others jump from opportunity to opportunity, wealthy people stay where compounding can do its work, and compounding does not need applause. If this perspective is shifting how you see success, comment and share this with someone who confuses noise with progress. Quietly wealthy people also avoid explaining their values, not because they lack them, but because values are tested through decisions, not words. You can hear someone talk about discipline, humility, or patience for hours, or you can watch how they behave when no one is watching. Wealthy people choose the second option. Here is the final insight, and this is the one most people miss. Quietly wealthy people do not explain themselves because they are not trying to be chosen. They already chose themselves. Explanation is a negotiation tool. When you stop negotiating your worth, explanation becomes optional. So, if you are constantly feeling the need to justify your goals, your pace, your boundaries, or your ambition, this is not a money problem. It is an identity problem. Fix that, and the silence will come naturally. Final thought. Wealth that needs explanation is usually still unstable. Wealth that is stable becomes quiet, not out of fear, not out of arrogance, but out of clarity. If you understand now that real wealth is built in silence, engage one last time, share this message, and remember this: the most powerful people in the room rarely explain why they belong there. They simply do.